ABC Sports presents live from a pretty valley called Pinole near San Francisco in its 28th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Qualifying in 5th place, he last won in 1985, the outgoing PBA president, Ernie Schlegel. In our first match, he'll face a 16-time champion from Beaumont, Texas, Wayne Webb. In the second game, looking for his second PBA title from Freehold, New Jersey, Parker Bone III. In second position, celebrating his 27th birthday, also vying for his second title, Ron Williams. And our tournament leader, making his first career championship round appearance from Cleveland, Ohio, David D'Entremont. That's our field for the $125,000 ARC Pinole Open on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And you're looking at the memory-provoking Golden Gate Bridge as we say hello to you from the Pinole Valley Lanes, our first stop in a tour of 16 cities in America, beginning with this tournament. And you know, as we begin our 28th season, I'll tell you again that I'm Chris Schenkel. But when we started 28 years ago, it was black and white television. There was no videotape. We didn't have videotape replays. My friend Johnny Carson had not started his nightly series. But to put it more in perspective, reality really sets in when you consider this fact. The 3 top bowlers on our telecast today weren't even born when we started. Well, here we go with the first part of 3 hours of exciting competition on ABC. We're the first of ABC's 1-2 Saturday afternoon punch, Professional Bowlers Tour telecast, followed by ABC's Wide World of Sports. And today, the beauty of the World Figure Skating Challenge of Champions. Brian Orser, Brian Boitano, yes, including Debbie Thomas, and the incredible Dorothy Hamill. Also, United States premier ski jumper Mike Holland winning a prestigious World Cup in Austria yesterday and the Athlete of the Year presentation. We're pleased to announce, too, that for the first time the hearing impaired community will have an opportunity to further enjoy our telecast, and we'll tell them more about that later. Right now, I'm glad to bring in, after a record year in 1988, his 15th year with us, Nelson Burton Jr. Bo.
Thank you, Chris, and honestly, I don't remember that black and white either, partner.
You don't? No. In the cradle.
Oh, yeah, I wish. You know, 1988 was a great year for the PBA. We had Bob Benoit's 300 game at the Quaker State. Brian Voss broke the all-time single money winnings record. And 1989 looks like it's going to be about the same. The veterans are back. There's a sprinkling of some newcomers out here, and a fabulous field we have today. Remember, this ARC tournament was the site of Jim Stepanich's 300 game, the 7-10 split conversion by Mark Roth, the only time ever on TV. So anything can happen in the opening tournament. The field has a good sprinkling of veterans. There's a newcomer in the #1 spot. We have a left-hander. We have power players. We have straight ball shooters. So, Chris, they're ready to fire the first shot of 1989, and there's a lot of money at stake.
It's a take.
The winner will meet our #3 qualifier. The winner of the second game will meet our #2 qualifier. The winner of the third game will meet the tournament leader in the final game for the championship. Should any of our games be tied, there will be a 2-frame roll-up, similar to the 9th and 10th frames.
Yes.
Hi.
With a 60-pin maximum to determine the winner of the game. None of our players will finish any worse.
We're happy. We'll shorten it up. How much do I have to go on Wide World?
The first time they
Well, can I say less than I said or not?
the finalists for this year's ARC title. First of all, the bowler who finished
Maybe I shouldn't name names.
will be matched this afternoon.
The event and Mike Holland.
He's looking for his first win
Yeah.
in 4 years per the
Yeah, I don't think that's right, but so I'd rather not say it. Well, it was the first time it'd be significant. Third time, so what does it mean? The fact that he won it. I don't think it's right, Carol. I'll tell you right now.
The winner of that opening match will be meeting our #3 qualifier. He won his first tournament in the summer of '87. He thinks it's about time to win again. Parker Bone. And the winner of that section game will be meeting our number 2 qualifier, bowler with a hot hand. He won the Bud Classic just 2 tournaments ago. And he's knocking on the door again, Ron Williams. The winner of that third game will be meeting our tournament leader in the final game for the championship. Although he's been a pro for 7 years, this is his first championship round appearance. And this afternoon finds him in that enviable position of waiting in the wings to bowl just 1 game for $18,000 in his first championship, Dave D'Entremont. There are a number of things we'd like to ask of you during the length of our telecast from Championship Round. Primarily, we'd like for you to be in an enthusiastic audience, just as you've been all week long. Pick a favorite root form. Do a little hooting and hollering out there. However, keep in mind, the name of the game is concentration. The bowlers do request that once they step up onto the approach to start their delivery, you show them the courtesy of remaining still until the shot is away. Once the shot is away, let's really have you react. The important thing.
Chris has left, I think, to
feel for them, and once they step up onto the approach, remain still. Give them an opportunity to concentrate and do their work, and we're going to have a lot of fun here this afternoon. Our telecast is of an hour-and-a-half duration. There'll be 4 games. We'll then have presentations of our championship check and trophy. We'd like for you to please remain seated until we are off the air. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed watching the greatest bowlers in the world perform, meeting them, perhaps bowling with them in the Pro-Am, you owe your thanks to the people that make it possible. This is the 16th consecutive year that our friends at ARC have sponsored this outstanding event. We'd like to thank them for our long-standing relationship and for their interest in professional bowling. We'd like for you to help us thank them by welcoming the president of ARC, a longtime friend of professional bowling, Mr. Robert Boyker. President of Finance.
And come on and just miss the final. Here I was 88 under here.
first block?
76 under the first block.
What'd you do? Just got your rhythm, huh?
No, I went from here to here and drifted left. I just drifted left.
Square that
By drifting left, it opened. I had the whole lane.
Here at Pinole Valley Lakes, however, the man who speaks. Columbia Tour consultant and Hall of Famer John Jowdy. Cardinelli. Western Regional Director of the PBA and PBA Hall of Famer Ted Hoffman. Public Relations Director Kevin Shipley. To all the members of the news media, we'd like to thank you for your outstanding job in covering the event, from the Oakland Tribune, Elbridge, the Street, and C.J. Clemens. From the West County Times, Jay Heater. From the Pittsfield Daily Republic, Steve Trotsky. And from the bowling world, Red Piper. And to the rest of the media, thanks for your your coverage. We had some nervous this afternoon, understandably so. The wife and daughter of our number 5 qualifier, Catherine and Darlene Schlegel. And the wife and daughter of our number 4 qualifier, Travis and Angela Webb. Fiancé of our number 2 qualifier, Ron Williams, Bonnie Hartman. And the fiancé of our tournament leader, Dave D'Entremont, handling this commentary, man who used in it many of the sporting events. On 4 occasions, he was voted by his colleagues the nation's outstanding sportscaster. We're proud to say this is his 28th consecutive year with Pro Bowl Stewart. Will you welcome the nicest man in sports broadcasting, Chris Schenkel. And handling the color, the winner of 17 tour titles, Hall of Famer Nelson Burton Jr. And I'd like to, on behalf of all of the parents, to thank Sue Bale and all the gatekeepers, the Sandy DeGroot, Tom President, and all the supporting.
The following is an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports.
Chris Warren, Bowers, Bell, Monticelli, Rodolfo, Cook, Marisi.
The Standard National PBA tournament begins on Monday when approximately 120 non-exempt players vie for 60 spots. They join 100 exempt players to make a field of 160. They can't all bowl at once, so players divide into 2 squads with rotating shifts. They'll bowl 2 6-game blocks on Wednesday.
Guppy, why don't you get the new pants?
Find them, I'll get them.
Another 6-game block Thursday. And then the first cut is made in the tournament to 24 players. The top 24 then bowl 24 match games Thursday evening, Friday morning, and evening. A lot of bowling, a lot of wear and tear in 5 days. The bowlers need equipment for their weekly jaunt, and most of them are serviced by this van owned and operated by Larry Lickstein, a former PBA member.
I would say this year we're going to drill about 6,000 or 7,000 bowling balls. We provide grips, rosin bags, bowling bags, all our locker room supplies. Many of those supplies are stored in here. The amount of equipment that we're carrying every week is probably in the area of 40,000 pounds to each city.
And back in the lanes, the activity continues at a furious pace. Records to keep, media to provide for, moving up and down the charts. 5 days until the top 5 emerge and make the coveted finals. And boy, have they earned it. ABC Sports presents live from a pretty valley called Pinole near San Francisco in its 28th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Qualifying in 5th place, he last won in 1985, the outgoing PBA president, Ernie Schlegel. In our first match, he'll face a 16-time champion from Beaumont, Texas, Wayne Webb. In the second game, looking for his second PBA title from Freehold, New Jersey, Parker Bone III. In second position, celebrating his 27th birthday, also vying for his second title, Ron Williams. And our tournament leader, making his first career championship round appearance from Cleveland, Ohio, David D'Entremont. That's our field for the $125,000 ARC Pinole Open on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And this, of course, is the Golden Gate Bridge. What a memory-provoking scene. We begin our tour of 16 cities, our first stop right here at the Pinole Valley Bowling Lanes for our first telecast of 1989. And it's my pleasure to say hello and welcome you to our series. I'm Chris Schenkel. And you know, when we started 28 years ago, it was black and white television. There was no videotape, no videotape replays. My friend Johnny Carson had not started his nightly series. And to put it really into perspective, reality sets in when you consider this fact. Our 3 top bowlers on our telecast today weren't even born when we started. Well, as usual, we are always the first part of ABC Saturday afternoon 1-2 punch because we're followed by Wide World of Sports, and today, the beautiful competition, the premiere for 1989 of the World Figure Skating Challenge of Champions. Also, a look at a big event in ski jumping. United States premier ski jumper Mike Holland winning a World Cup competition yesterday in Austria, plus the Athlete of the Year presentation. We're also pleased to announce for the first time in our series that the hearing impaired community will further enjoy with closed captions. We'll tell you more about that later. Right now, first time in '89, veteran of 15 years now on our telecast, Nelson Burton Jr. Here he is.
Thank you, Chris. Well, I couldn't remember that black and white either, partner.
I know you were in the cradle when we started.
Thank you. You know, 1988 was a banner year for the PBA. We saw Bob Benoit roll 300 at the Quaker State. Brian Voss broke the single-season money record. And 1989 promises to be just the same. All the veterans are back. There's a sprinkling of really good young talent out here. Now, the ARC Open has always produced some memory in itself. 1974, Jim Stefanich, 300 game. 1980, Mark Roth, the only time on television, converted the 7-10 split. And with a great field today, we'll have some of that action. We have some veterans in there. We have a power player, the leader. We have a left-hander in the field. And we have a straight shooter right down in the number 1 spot, the ex-president of the PBA. So, Chris, it's going to be a good year. There's a lot of money at stake, and they're ready to go.
And we are ready to go. Thank you, Bo. As we look at the purse breakdown, $18,000 to the winner, $9,500, $7,000, $5,500, and the loser of our very first match will receive $4,500. You're looking at Wayne Webb, who is the winner of 16 tournaments on tour. Most, of course, in today's field. His opponent, Ernie Schlegel, has won 4 PBA titles. Here's a stylist, Bo, that a little different style, but so effective.
All right, Chris, he is, I believe, one of the best natural talents we've ever seen. A great arm swing. Wayne Webb, opening shot, somewhat struggled in warming up. He kept saying, I can't get a hook on the left-hand lane, which is 29, and hooks too much on 30. So he's a bit confused, and he'll have to make some adjustments for a strike shot in the early going.
Wayne Webb, who is the 1980 Firestone Tournament of Champions winner. He was second in this event last year, held at another bowling establishment. So Wayne Webb marks with a spare, and to really succeed on the tour, you have to mark with spares consistently. Ernie Schlegel, what a veteran, what a colorful veteran. 21 years a PBA member, as we mentioned briefly. He is the past president, immediate past president of the Professional Bowlers Association. He's on the right lane, first shot, 45 years of age. Sliding by, so he'll, like Wayne, have a pin to shoot at.
Boards are cracking when he moves.
And you will hear him talk to himself.
Ernie Schlegel, the veteran, as you said, Chris, rolls the ball that many of the league bowlers can understand or empathize with. It's the standard down and in shot. He's from the old school, and he learned to bowl on lacquer lanes. All
right, the match is all even after one frame, and Bo, if there are 2 professionals on the tour that know how to psych their opponents, we're looking at them right here.
I agree, Chris. They do have a lot of experience. Here's Ernie's profile, 5-step delivery, real good arm swing, everything in good position. You noticed he rolled it very smoothly at the line, doesn't play much hook, depends on accuracy.
Lady, baby, come on.
Well, the ball listened to him that time. Ernie Schlegel, who hasn't won since '85, and Wayne Webb hasn't won in 3 years and 9 months. Sort of disbelief when we talked about it earlier, Bo, with him.
He is a great winner. I think he's one of the great clutch players, and obviously one of the great players. He's closing in on $1 million in lifetime earnings and winnings.
And as he crossed over, left the 9-pin on the right lane.
Wayne comes from a bowling family. Both his brother and his father have rolled 300 games, and he comes from an area where duck pins was also part of the game. So, Connecticut area. Wayne Webb, across lane, single pin spare, the 9-pin. Should have no problem.
So the 5'5" professional now bowling out of Beaumont, Texas. He's lived in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, Lodi, New Jersey, Indianapolis, and now Beaumont. Vancouver, Washington was that man's residence. Schlegel.
Wayne Webb, 5'5" in stature, takes a short approach, ends up about 1 foot behind the foul line, but the good hand action, good direction. Right now trails by 1 pin, 3rd frame.
And again, that single pin. Imperfect hit for Wayne Webb.
The 2-pin almost goes over. The head pin went to the sideboard and almost came back. And watch the action of the head pin. It goes to the sideboard, comes behind the 2-pin, spins between the 8. The 8 almost falls forward to make it a strike. Easy spare for Wayne.
Wayne Webb, who 4 years in a row won over $100,000 bowling. And in his career, Ernest Schlegel, whom we're looking now, is over the $600,000 mark. Deliberate style, sometimes finding trouble in pulling the trigger.
Well, by PBA rules, Chris, he has 15 seconds in which to initiate a shot from the time he steps on the approach.
Wanted that double to take a bigger lead, so he'll have to cross lane and knock down the 10 pin on the right side.
Schlegel, with good technique, tries to play the extreme outside line on the right-hand lane, leaves what we call the soft 10. See the ball not quite finishing. Watch the action of the 6 pin, the 2nd pin on the right-hand part of your screen. Doesn't quite knock out the 10 pin. Schlegel up, easy spare.
All right, earlier we had an opportunity to ask Ernie why he does so well at his age.
Well, I've kept myself in great physical shape, and with all the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, it's made the game a lot easier. I don't fight the game as much, and to me, bowling is a hobby now. It's not a living.
Okay. Could be a very lucrative hobby here today if he can go all the way. All right. Ernie Schlegel going against 16-time winner Wayne Webb here at Pinole Valley Lanes near San Francisco. Carol. Carol.
Back on this. All right. The championship pair this week is, I'll show you the oiling pattern. The PBA puts oil down to approximately 18 feet, and then what we call is they drag it down to 41 feet. This is the long oil system that the PBA uses, and both lanes are identically the same. And what happens is the characteristic of the left lane, lane 29, allows it to hook a little bit less than lane 30. So let's see how Wayne Webb attacks the pair. He's struggling right now.
4th frame for Webb. A high hit and an awesome leave. Oh, what a pity.
Well, this is an unusual lead, but Wayne Webb can make this. What he has to do is get that bowling ball over to the 3-6 zone right here. Drive the 3-pin over into the 4-7. It's the unusual 3-4-6-7-10 split. It's makeable, Chris.
Tried for that conversion. That's a 4-7 on the right lane, and it's an open and a break for Schlegel. Wayne Webb. We asked him who he fears in our field today.
Actually, the only person I fear is myself. If I can come out striking early, I feel as if I'll have a real good day, and keeping my game real sharp and making my spares today is probably going to be the key point.
Look at that rebounding shot. After an open frame, like the champions do so often, they come back with a powerful strike. That in the 5th frame. But Ernie Schlegel, with a strike up, is leading by 19.
Important for Ernie, as he leads by 19 with a strike up, to nail Wayne Webb early. Webb, once he gets zeroed in, can throw many more strikes than Schlegel, so Schlegel has to get him while he's down before Wayne figures out the championship pair and makes a rush. Important shot.
Leaving the 7-pin. Ernie, who looks very awkward at the line. However,
Chris, he's trying to keep the speed of his feet down. He said he was rushing the line as and he's getting his timing off. So as you see the ball going a little bit wide, he could have gotten a good break and have the head pin take out the 7 for a double. Another thing about Ernie, he's using a ball that hooks on the right-hand lane and a ball that doesn't hook on the left.
just covers the pin. Ernie Schlegel leading by 19 in our very first game. The winner will meet Parker Bone III as we look at Webb, then Ron Williams, and then David D'Entremont, a non-winner, and is the tournament leader today.
Schlegel with a different ball on the left-hand lane that doesn't hook as much. He's also playing around the second arrow. He's playing on the left lane, first arrow on the right.
Oh, Ernie. Yeah.
You ought to like Ernie. What a smooth release. Just placing it on the lanes.
That's when you know you're playing the lanes correctly. Ernie, you could tell by his little commentary, had felt he made a mistake and ended up with a strike. That's when you know you're doing the right thing, when you have that margin of error. Now let's see if Webb can get back in the match. Trails by 19. A strike would cut the lead of Schlegel's to just 9.
Again, very high hit.
3, 6, 9, 10. I would put it in a category of the top 5 tough spares. This is one of them. As you see, Wayne going high, chopping 6 pins off the left side. Now there's 2 things he can do. He can either play somewhat of a straight shot across the lane from the left to the right into the 3-6, or play the big hook and try to come in from the right side. He's playing the big hook.
Beautifully done. The man that in the 80s has won $771,000. And he had 8 consecutive years where he won at least 1 title. Now, the record is 14 consecutive years. That was Earl Anthony and Don Johnson 12, Mark Roth 10, and Dick Weber 8. And careful preparation. Well, can he do what Mark Roth once did in our telecast?
It happened in 1980, Chris, the 7-10 split. Roth converted by driving the 10-pin into the right-hand corner of the pit, having it bounce out and come across. Here's what Roth did. He hit the 10-pin, bounced it out, came all the way across, rolled over, and knocked the 7 down. Let's see if that's the strategy that Wayne Webb takes. And obviously he's going for the 7 pins. He went across lane. He wasn't watching that telecast.
Okay.
He might get it anyway.
With 2 open frames now, it'll be very difficult for him to match his performance last year in this event when he finished second. Record-breaking year for Brian Voss. Most ever, 225,485, followed by Benoit, Weber, Ferraro, and Williams. Since we're running a little behind our schedule in the very deliberate first game, we've had 2 frames bowled by Ernie Schlegel. Struck in the 7th, spare in the 8th, leads by 41, and now live, Wayne Webb with a strike here in this first match coming in the 8th frame. He's had 2 opens, which have proven disastrous as he looks at the overhead score sheet.
Really, Wayne Webb has struggled in this match until the 5th frame. He got lined up in the 5th frame on the left-hand lane through a strike, went high, left the 3, 6, 9, 10 in the 6th frame on the right, then left the 7-10 split here in the 7th frame. If he has any chance to win the match, he must strike right now on this ball.
Leaving the 4-pin on the left lane. Wayne Webb, 31 years old. 3 years and 9 months since he's won, and with a total of 16, it's most unusual. Has support here in his wife Travis and 7-year-old daughter Angela, watching along with you. But Bo, it's a lonely sport. Only you.
Well, it's like any other individual. You got the boxers, maybe the tennis players, sudden death in golf, and bowlers get used to it every day. It's match game play, and it's a matter of defeating your opponent.
Now you're looking at Schlegel in the 9th frame. His lead is 41 pins. There's a spare working in the 8th.
Any kind of mark here in the 9th or 10th frames locks up the match for Schlegel.
Hurting the split, leaving the 4-7.
Could have fooled me.
Could have fooled me. Well,
Ernie, who doesn't play much break on the ball, felt that ball would what we call set in the 1-3 pocket, and it broke a little bit at the last 2 feet, left the easy spare, the 4-7. This conversion here will lock it up for Ernie.
he does it. So it means $4,500 to the loser, Wayne Webb of Beaumont, Texas, and Parker Bone, the third, will be Ernie's next opponent.
208 or 178. All right.
Ernie checking with our PBA coordinator, Frank Esposito. Recent bridegroom. Congratulate he and his wife, Carol. So Ernie Schlegel makes it official now. He has won the first game and will meet Parker Bone the third. Don't go away. More after this. 45-year-old Ernie Schlegel has moved ahead with a 216, Wayne Webb 178. Ernie, with 6 strikes, will now meet 25-year-old Parker Bone III of Freehold, New Jersey. Budweiser is sponsoring a $50,000 pointless competition which will run through the winter and spring tours. Players finishing among the top 24 places will be awarded points and, of course, money. And the first place at the end of it all will get $25,000. Brian Voss won it last year. So we'll keep you informed as we go along. This is our first stop in a tour of 16 cities on the Professional Boulders Tour. Parker Bone III, 5'10", 144 pounds, very likable young man.
Really coming into his own, Chris. He's 25 years old. He's rolls a nice smooth shot down the left side. One of the few left-handers that has enjoyed any kind of scoring out here in the last couple of years.
Well, there just aren't that many lefties successful since Mike Albee, of course, still competing.
You're right, Chris. Is Albee a little bit in the slump as you see Parker Bone's ball entering the 1-2 pocket, the 3-pin coming over and clipping out the 6 and 10s. Now Schlegel, who's playing the outside line on lane 30, out on the first arrow with a ball that doesn't hook much, and he's playing the inside line on the left lane. Let's see what happens.
Leaving a 4-pin, the man who had a big year in 1980 after a drought of 12 years where he had not won.
Chris, in 1980, I bowled Ernie for his first title. He bowled around a 240 or 50 against me, and everybody said, well, once he gets through the jinx of winning that first match, he'll kind of boss him into a star, and he has been very steady over the last 7 or 8 years.
Last year in this event, he lost in his first match from 3rd seed to Mike Jasnow of Wichita. Mike, this year with some wrist problems, finished 102. He was last year's champion. Week's average 212. Okay, with 6 strikes in his victory against Wayne Webb, 216 total. He comes up with his first here against Parker Bone III.
Parker, a determined young man, has a couple of sponsors that have put him out here in the tour, and he's rewarded him with good winnings over the years, and he can only get better. He's really dedicated towards his game as a hard worker.
Owns a pro shop, Howell Lanes in New Jersey.
Parker just about by the book. Good solid push away on the first step, 4-step delivery, slides perpendicular to the following. Look at that good knee bend, high follow through. The results of a well-executed shot were all 10 pins, and he does have a lead over Schlegel.
Dave Davis, the veteran, and veteran Mark Roth have helped this young man along the way. Last year he won 2 titles in Pennsylvania. And some cash to go with it.
Using the full grip, just inserting his fingers down to the first knuckle. Really got to be pretty happy with that shot. Parker pulled the ball to the right of his target, and sometimes it drifts a little bit high and you leave the 4-6 split. He knocked out the 4-pin, left a very simple 6-pin. He would maintain his 9-pin lead. Look at how high this ball is. Just pushes out the 4 and 7s pins.
Smooth spare shot. Parker Bone. Ernie Schlegel now with a strike in the 2nd, shooting in the 3rd with a trailing by 9. Can change that and lead by 1. So in the lead by 1 here in our 2nd game. Catherine, his wife, in the flowered-like blouse there on the right of the screen. And Darlene Schlegel, her daughter. Are they tense? You bet. Watch this preparation.
The outgoing president of the PBA has the distinction of being the only president not to win a championship while in office. He says he's going to extend his office a little bit longer if he can win the day. To take an 11-pin lead right here.
Leaving a 10-pin. The current president of the PBA is John Petraglia.
One of Ernie's best shots and doesn't get the desired result, the solid 10. And people often ask what's the difference between the solid 10 and the soft 10. It's just the angle the 6-pin takes around the 10-pin.
Ernie Schlegel and his 32nd bowling telecast. We've enjoyed watching him perform. The average leader throughout a year is always significant, and again, Mark Roth by the narrowest of margins over Pete Weber, Brian Voss, Ferraro, and Williams.
Pretty strong group right there. You can average above 215 on the Professional Bowlers Tour for a whole year. You're a six-figure player. You have to win, unless you're really unlucky, more than $100,000. Now, Parker Bone on the 4th frame. The match is all even. He has a spare up. Just saws that 5 out of there, Chris.
Oh, yeah. We asked Parker earlier why there weren't more left-handed bowlers on the tour.
I think the big change for the past couple of years, the lanes have been a little bit tight on the left side, and it's caused not that much breakdown, and obviously not a real lot of hook. Lately, this week especially, there's been some hook on the left side, and you know, for me that fit my game because I grew up where I had to throw the ball pretty hard and firm, so I just fell into place this week.
Now the 25-year-old leads by 10. Parker Bone.
Boy, he has to like that shot. He almost roped it straight into the pocket. He played a wide sweeping hook on the right-hand lane, blew the pins out in the 4th, and now he puts the what we call the frozen rope on him in the 5th. Ernie's in for a tight match this time. It won't be a cakewalk like the first match where Wayne Webb was just confused on how to get to the pocket. See how Schlegel responds.
Spare up.
No.
Leaving a 6-10 on the right lane.
Schlegel turns the ball early, one of the habits that pros get into every once in a while, but amateurs often fall into this slump. They try to make the ball hook, and what happens, they rotate that thumb counterclockwise before he lifts the ball and goes high. So Schlegel with that fingertip grip will quickly go with a 6-10 spare. Got a good break.
There you see that Schlegel is trailing by 12. season's premiere of ABC's Wide World of Sports, World Figure Skating Challenge of Champions, men's and women's competition, the very best. Mike Holland ski jumping, winning in Austria yesterday. Not a winning shot for Ernie Schlegel, leaving the 7-pin.
An excellent effort by Ernie, playing the inside line on the left-hand lane. He hits the 1-3 pocket, saws the 5 over towards the 7-pin, but he doesn't get the good break. And he grabs a second ball quickly to make this spare. I don't go with that move, Chris. Keep with that first ball.
Seems to be more and more of that, Bo. Use of...
There's two schools of thought, and one is that you take a ball that doesn't hook so that you can have accuracy at the spares. That's good and fine, but often the two bowling balls do not feel exactly the same. The grip may be drilled the same, but any of you who own two bowling balls know they never feel the same, and we've seen players either hang in a spare ball or drop it, causing them to miss. So
he's trying for 3 in a row, leaving the 3-5-6.
Parker a little anxious. Wants to get this strike to jump out to a big lead over Ernie. Feet get too fast, the ball doesn't come up, and he's got a spare he's got to be a little bit careful with, the 3-5-6.
Two of the big names on the tour last year, Marshall Holman and Walter Ray Williams Jr. Marshall finished 31st, Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the 43rd position. First stop, 16 telecasts. It's really spanned the country. Next week we go south to Torrance, California, Gable House for the AC Delco Championship.
And that's a bowling center where we saw Pete McCordick roll that 300 2 years ago.
Pete finished 12th this year as Parker Bone leaves the 7-pin.
Parker Bone with the 7-pin is once again up on the approach with a second ball. Try to cut that hook down, make it a little bit easier.
Okay. Nearing the midpoint of our second match on our live telecast from Pinole Valley Lanes near San Francisco. We'll be back. Okay, we're looking at Ron Williams, and just passing through the screen was our tournament leader. Now a full shot of David D'Entremont of Cleveland, Ohio, a non-winner looking for his first title. Very coordinated player, very confident player. Meanwhile, Ernie Schlegel is trailing by 9 pins in his second match, this against Parker Bone III. Ernie won the first game, if you just joined us, 216 to Wayne Webb's 178. Now with the spare up, 7th frame, Ernie Schlegel. Again, concentration broken. 2 and 5 left on the right lane.
Working so much on
Ernie's
the
starting to
field.
loosen up a little bit in the match now. He won that first match pretty handily. Here in the 7th frame, he gets a little quick with the ball, sails it by, leaves the 2-5. The only thing you have to guard about here as a pro bowler is not to hook the ball too much and chop the 2 off the 5. With this conversion, Ernie would still trail by 11.
In his 5th television appearance is Parker Bone III. And as you see, he has an 11-pin lead on Schlegel, who moves to the left lane now, looking at the score sheet. Bo, did you talk to yourself when you were really competing?
No, not really, Chris. I don't think I was really conscious of what I said. I think most of the players tend to keep their concentration, their thoughts to themselves. Obviously, Ernie is pretty relaxed out there, and it helps him.
Ernie's a pretty good showman, too. Don't let anybody kid you.
Ernie's on a mission. He's been out here for a number of years. He's one of the surviving old-timers. He loves that kind of tag that he's one of the older players out here on the tour, and he's still very competitive. And if you love the sport, you can stay competitive in bowling a long time. Don't lose that enthusiasm. You can stay a top pro.
Oh, Parker leaving just the 5. Well, we watch them adjusting their grips from time to time, and amateur bowlers in particular. Your tip of the week concentrates on that today.
Good point, Chris. We talk a little bit about how to keep the good feel in a bowling ball. And if you saw Ernie up there, that frame on the right-hand lane, he stepped back off because he just didn't have the good feel. It's so important to be positive and know that that ball is coming off your hand properly. We cover that in the tip.
Coming up soon. And the only left-hander in the field of 5. Continues to lead now by 10 pins, and coming to the crucial 9th frame now. And David D'Entremont, our tournament leader, and the next man up, Ron Williams, continue to warm up. You hear pinfall when our 2 competitors are actually competing. That's the other 2 practicing off to our right.
Left-hand lane, Parker Bone has been high almost every shot. Got a strike there in the first frame, went high and left the 6th pin in the 3rd, struck in the 5th. Once again, he went high in the 7th, leaves the 6th pin again in the 9th frame. Just a little bit high. The 3 pin doesn't drive straight back in the 6th with a conversion. He will lead by 9.
So as we have only 9 pins separating the 2 professionals, there's always that possibility of a tie. And should that happen, as always, there's a 2-frame immediate roll-off.
On the other side of the coin, Chris, Schlegel, if he could strike here in the 9th, 10th, and 11th frames, would shut out Parker Bone. So the match is in each individual's hands.
All right, there's 1. The game is on. Ernie Schlegel.
As important as the strike was to bring Ernie into the lead for the first time in the match, he also made the adjustment to move inside on the right-hand lane, more like he's playing the left-hand lane. So when he's playing both lanes around the 2nd arrow, gives him much more opportunity of getting a good rhythm. Now, as I said before, Schlegel can control his own destiny. A strike here in the 10th, another one in the 11th, and he shuts out Parker Bone.
Again, the importance of the shot, causing him to come back and drawing off that hand, adjusting his grip now. Came back from the line with a sort of a dicey hand movement, like, oh.
Well, that's where the good arm swing comes in. Ernie Schlegel kind of lost that ball at the bottom of his swing, but his arm was directly in line with his target. He doesn't play much hook. Had that ball ease up the head pin, carried a wall shot there, and he's put himself in a position where he can shut out Parker Bone with a strike right here.
The man with the shades.
The blue blockers, or blue whatever he said they were. He says it blocks out all the glare. I think look pretty good on Ernie.
People that compete shooting often wear those glasses.
For the win right here.
Well, it's bye-bye for this game, but he's got tough Ron Williams to face next. Let's go to the tip of the week with Nelson Burton Jr.
That's all right. See, I was listening to girls, but I knew you were the monitor shows the angle pretty much, and I just saw the ball fade.
I gotta get that hearing compared. I gotta get that hearing compared.
34.
Ron Williams Even though that was an exciting match, for some reason it seemed exceedingly dull.
With 7 strikes, Ernie Schlegel, at 45 years of age, has won his second match, eliminating Parker Bone III, who shot a .223. And now Ron Williams steps in. Hottest bowler on the tour, having won only 6 weeks ago. Upcoming, as we said, Torrance, California for the AC Delco Classic.
Chris, and then the oldest stop on the PBA Tour, the Showboat, where we have a tremendously large field and the largest bowling center in the United States. That'll be on January 21st. Then on the 28th, we head down to one of your favorite areas, Grand Prairie, Texas. And then over to Miami, Florida for the Budweiser Classic.
Budweiser Classic, the first of 2. Okay, there were 144 players in the starting field today. Average gain, 202.
The top 24, 210 to make the top 24. And here are some of the players that finished from 6 through 24. A strong group. Don Moser, a local favorite, made good charts. The Fireball, Ringer, Todd Williams up there. Jim Miller won the Showboat. Rowdy Morrow, Ron Williams, who is coming in this match as partner. Palumbi, McCordick, you know those names. George Branham, Studley, Mark Baker, The Wizard, David Houston, always there. Ray Perez, the Pride of Cincinnati. Purvis Granger, Jim Tilton, Earl Zeman, Westlake, a great clutch player. The Smooth Don Janelle, Dave Arnold, watch him, great game. And Roger Copland round out the top 24.
So as you look at the 10 bowling pins here at the Pinole Valley Bowling Lanes near Oakland and near San Francisco, it's sunny but cool outside in the Bay Area. And the season's premiere of ABC's Wide World of Sports, Brian Boitano, Debbie Thomas, Brian Orser of Canada. Just a few of the champions. Many, many Olympic medal winners, including one of my favorites, Dorothy Hamill, competing.
And Rosalind Sumners, who is came out to watch the Professional Bowlers Tour a couple of years ago, will also be competing. Chris, it should be very exciting.
All right, a man that's celebrating his 27th birthday today from Cahokia, Illinois. Unusual style, Ron Williams. Oh, but such an effective shot.
Ron has the unusual style, Chris, but he has the hot hand. He's an experienced player, and I think one of the things that Ron has going for him is he learned to bowl in the St. Louis area where you learn to bowl both on what we call lacquer surfaces. They're the old carry-back lane surfaces, not the urethane. And lacquer surfaces have a tendency to hook less and track on the right side, wear more. So you have to learn a few more shots. Ron Williams is armed with those shots, as is his opponent, who has as much moxie as any player in the top 5 today. A man who's won 2 matches, Ernie Schlegel.
And Ernie accepts the pressure of the perfect shot by his opponent, Ron Williams. All even after 1 frame.
Schlegel cannot roll the ball any better than that. He was nice and relaxed. He came up and just made a wonderful shot. Looks like the only person that can beat him right now is somebody with a hot hand, or Ernie himself. And remember, last year, Mike Jasnow went right through a field, Chris, won all 4 games, and he got stronger as he went. Let's see if Schlegel can be up to that task today.
Should have took a re-rack, Ernie. Should have took a re-rack.
Which is his option, to take a re-rack, Bo.
Well, you're allowed to re-rack the opening, the first set of the pins 3 times in a match. And I don't think he would have struck no matter what if he, in that particular hit. Not solid.
Okay. Now, Ron Williams, 5'10", 180 pounds. Engaged to be wed to Bonnie Hartman. The date of the Firestone Tournament of Champions, April 22nd.
Good time to get married, and Ron will be making his first appearance at the Firestone.
And the man that finished 2nd overall in this field, 144, has doubled.
Williams, the unusual style, the good push away 4-step delivery, just cups the ball, then turns that elbow inward, but he rectifies the whole arm swing by getting it down underneath his body, and obviously he likes that type of shot. Another good thing about, I think, Ron Williams' style is he stays underneath the ball with both his slide leg, that left foot, and his hand, and he lofts the ball well out over the lane. He lifts it, doesn't throw it, and it's easier to control. Boom. Nice shot there.
I wonder if Don Carter's watching. We hope.
Don Carter, of course, had that crooked arm style, right, Chris? You saw him bowl many a day.
Wonderful. And of course, we'll be doing a telecast again from Don's Kendall, Florida lanes.
It will be our 5th stop. Now Schlegel trailing by 20, 3rd frame.
Certainly isn't getting meeker, this 45-year-old. He's good and loose and ready for the contest. Trailing though by 20, can cut it to 10 with a strike in the 4th.
Professional bowling at this level, the championship round is all match game play. And in every match game, there are key frames. And right now, for Williams, and especially for Schlegel, this is a key frame. If Schlegel would have an open or get it just to spare, he would leave the door wide open for Ron Williams to run away from him. So he really wants this one.
And Ernie is back within 10 here in his 3rd match of our telecast from Pinole Valley, California. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back again here at Pinole Valley Lanes. Ron Williams had a strike in the fourth, and then he left this little cluster. So for Ron Williams, it's a spare in the fifth frame in a relatively close match against Ernie Schlegel, who's won 2 games coming into this semifinal match. Schlegel averaging 225 in his 2 victories, first over Wayne Webb, 216 to 178, and then over Parker Bone, 234 to 223. World figure skating, the very best Olympic medalists, men and women. Look at Mike Holland, United States premier ski jumper, winning a World Cup in Austria.
Ernie Schlegel does not bowl any better than this, Chris. He has played very smart the first 2 games. He was there in the clutch when he needed it to shut out his opponent. As you see his ball driving through the 1, 3, 5, and 9 pins. The bowling ball only hits 4 pins, and we have a power failure right here in the bowling center right now, Chris. We have no bowling balls. We have no lights in the center. Our ABC television lights are still working, however.
You know, when we were talking about figure skating, the last time the lights went out when I was doing a telecast in Hartford, Connecticut at the World Championships, they went out and didn't come back on for a long time. Now, will those blue stoppers, those shades help him? We get a ruling here. Harry Golden, our tournament director, down here, and is saying, wait. Our electricians, I'm sure, will come up with a solution.
Well, there's some options in bowling, Chris. Obviously, everybody's murmuring and wondering what to do. In bowling, they can actually hand feed the bowling ball back to the player and have the pins set up by hand, a la Pinboy. So it's up to the decision of our tournament director on what they should do at this point.
Ernie continues to limber up those older muscles, while Ron Williams at 27 just sort of sits there coolly. So while we have an opportunity, we want you to know more about one of our most important sponsors.
He's making a point. Buddy?
Now, this is one of those times when we appreciate the efforts of Thomas Edison, because you can see more than half of this bowling establishment, Pinole Valley Lanes in California, is without its usual lighting effects. So we have a halt in play here. We're hoping, Bo, to get a determination from our tournament director from the very beginning, Harry Golden, who is checking with the technicians here. It has to do with the house, not with us. There's a good look at Harry. And this is one of those pressure moments for a tournament director.
Well, it's unusual to say the least. In all the years I have been around professional bowling, I've been a member of the PBA since 1960. We do have rules to cover disasters. In other words, they would continue on with the match game at a different point in a different bowling center, but not a power out in a championship round. The match as it is right now stands with Williams 4 strikes and a spare, leads Schlegel by 7 pins.
With the stoppage in play and electricity, Bo, which player will it affect most?
Chris, there's a PBA rule says that if you're delayed by more than 5 frames, now who's supposed to determine how long 5 frames becomes? Then it becomes Harry Golden's alternative to give each player 2 practice shots on the opposite lane that they're due up on. Schlegel is up on lane 29. He would get 2 practice shots on 30. That's Harry Golden's determination.
And we have a ruling when power is restored. We will continue. So, Bo, how would you like to be interviewed for 22 minutes?
Well, it's not so bad, Chris.
No.
I think it's interesting. We said at the top of the telecast, unusual things have happened in the ARC Open. Jim Stefanich, the 300. Mark Roth, the 7-10 split. And, of course, for anybody who's watching us or just tuned in now, we have a power outage at the Pinole Open.
The only saving grace of this particular moment, I must say, is the fact that we better all appreciate electricity a little more, because without it here, we're stymied at the moment. The bowling pins are there, so we're waiting. Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from your local stations.
Standby piece of Stefanich's 300 in the queue up right now.
I told you at the top of the show that we started out in black and white television 28 years ago. Well, we have a power outage here in Pinole Valley, California. The whole town's without electricity. The lighting that you see is our ABC generator providing the power for the light that you see. This has gone on for some time. Meanwhile, Ron Williams and Ernie Schlegel are just biding their time. We're in our third match with Ron Williams leading by 7 pins. Let's now join Frank Gifford.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest
interview him.
Okay. So I can set the, how much time now has there been with an outage, would you say? Yeah.
Where do you want me, Ned? Okay. Goose, come on out here. 5 minutes what? Tell me the time you want. Okay. I don't know what. Okay. How much time do you want me to use, Ned? Okay.
This depends. We may have to use it all.
This is great, Goose.
Yeah, how about that?
Hey.
Huh? It's you, Ned.
Nice going. Bring Garland out next time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Frank. And for those of you that just joined us, for about 10 minutes now, we've been without electricity here in the Pinole Valley lanes. The whole area has lost power. The lighting that we have comes from our own ABC generators, which are providing the lighting that is always necessary for a telecast. Ernie Schlegel and Ron Williams were reaching the midpoint of the third game. Schlegel winning 2 as we look at Williams now. Williams leading by 7 pins, so with play halted to get a further determination from our tournament director, here's Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. With me, obviously, our national tournament director, Harry Golden. This is a first here, and what are your options? We've been out 10 minutes, Goose. It's a pretty close match, 5 frames. What are you looking forward to?
Well, it's the city of Pinole. They've had a power outage, and the entire area is down. We've been in contact with them. The police are here with walkie-talkies to headquarters, and they've informed us that they're hopeful that power will be restored within 5 minutes. We're keeping our fingers crossed. However, as far as the match goes, we will just delay it until power is restored and conclude the matches at that time.
All right, Chris, they will probably get a couple of practice balls if we're out long enough. It's Harry Golden's determination, and I'll throw it back up to you, and we'll see what happens in a few more minutes. We may have some action.
Okay, that's the story currently. We'll give you more following this commercial from darkened Pinole Valley in California. Well, our first 60 minutes or so were fully illuminated, as you see, as 45-year-old Ernie Schlegel won the first 2 matches and reaching the 5th frame of his 3rd game against second seed Ron Williams. Electrical power has been lost in Pinole Valley in California, so thus competition has been halted for the moment, and we have no idea when the power will be restored. Now, 27-year-old Ron Williams, this is his birthday. What a way to celebrate it, Bo.
Well, you're right, Chris. There is one option. Obviously, we're trying to do anything we can to get power back and bowl as normal. If indeed, and obviously we may not finish this tournament in this segment of the Professional Bowlers Tour, but the PBA would finish when power comes on. They could set the pins by hand, Chris, and nobody has really opted for that. They would have to have a mechanic down there and set them up as they did in the 1920s and 30s, one pin at a time.
Okay, and while we're waiting for the 220 or the 110 to come on, let's go back to whoops, we were going to go to the perfect 300 game at the Quaker State Open in Grand Prairie of last year, Bob Benoit going against Mark Roth, but the cheers were for the fact that power has been restored. Hats off to the electrical company in Pinole Valley, California. Now, Ron Williams, he'll be getting practice shots along with Ernie Schlegel. Williams leading by 7 pins in this semifinal match.
Chris, they have 2 practice balls on the opposite lane that they are to perform their next shot. We see Ernie Schlegel up here on the right-hand lane. He will complete his next shot on the left-hand lane after 2 practice balls. That's the first shot for Ernie and 1 for Williams. And obviously, after we complete as much of this bowling as we can possibly get in, we get to the wide world of sports, Chris, and one of your favorite sports.
Oh, by all means.
Professional ice skating.
And you know, Brian Boitano, the world and Olympic champion, will be renewing his confrontation with Canada's Brian Orser. And Debbie Thomas, bronze medalist in Calgary, as you remember, right here on ABC, will be on the show. And then Dorothy Hamill, one of my favorites. Plus, you'll see United States premier ski jumper Mike Holland winning a World Cup yesterday in Austria. And you know, Bo, bowling is such a family game. Well, ski jumping is such a family sport, too, especially from the standpoint of rooters. The Holland family are the most incredible, devoted family to their sons who are ski jumpers that I've ever seen. So to watch Mike win a World Cup will be a big thrill in Wide World today.
And we'll continue right here, Chris. We've been out 17, 18 minutes to be my guess. Ernie Schlegel has 3 strikes in a row working. He trails in his match with Ron Williams through 5 frames by 7 pins. He can take the lead with a 4th consecutive strike. And obviously, let's see what happens to the momentum of the match.
Come on, be cool.
That's right, be cool.
Be cool.
From darkness to coolness now for Ernie Schlegel. He has a double working, can take the lead on this shot in the 6th frame.
Jesus.
Ernie, that's what you get when you're 45 years old, bud.
Don't fit right. Don't fit right. Tight. Come on.
2 warm-up practice shots are really enough for a young guy like Williams. And honestly, 45, Ernie could be a lot stiffer. Any of you who are in their mid-40s or past know the difference.
Comes through with that pivotal shot, with that double up, a strike here. Changes the situation. The new leader is Schlegel. Won the first 2 games if you just joined us, and this delay has been caused by a power outage here in California. Now Ron Williams, his first match of the day. He has a spare working, trailing by 3, shooting in the 6th. Didn't get a break.
Real aggressive shot by Williams. He was still loose out there, put the good snap on the ball, sent it a little wide and left the 10-pin. Grabs a ball that doesn't hook quite as much, a lower surface friction ball. Hopefully slide it across the 3rd arrow into the 10-pin.
And blew the 2nd shot.
You know, Chris, I guess I'll even harp on it a little bit. We've talked about it since it's become fashionable in the last few years of players changing balls to shoot spares. A player of Ron Williams' caliber, who is one of the top players in the world, does not need to change balls to make a single pin spare. He's accurate enough. Just kill the shot, make the spare, and go on. Don't lose your momentum.
Trails by 15 now. So he starts over. Remember, there was a 15-minute delay because losing electricity here in the valley, and then, of course, these lanes. Ernie Schlegel didn't bother him. He gets up his first shot with a double working, strike in the 6th, leading by 15. Now he's ready to shoot in the 7th. asked for a re-rack and got it on the right lane.
Seems to be confusion between Harry Golden's ruling and Ernie Schlegel. Is he going to bowl? And they're actually talking to each other, and Harry has the prerogative of penalizing Ernie in a number of ways if he doesn't get up to bowl. Obviously, he can fine him some money, which is in the rules, or even make him forfeit the match. Definitely has the upper hand, has 4 strikes in a row, leads by 15, 7th frame.
Oh, yeah, baby!
So Ernie Schlegel, noticeably nervous with the twitching of his left foot and leg. Remember, he's in his 3rd match, and he has always had a little apprehension on the approaches over the years. But now leads by 25, getting ready, Bo, to shoot in the left lane, 8th frame.
Very true, Chris. He has a record of basically having 1 bad shot at a critical point in any match. And I just don't believe that's going to happen today. Ernie looks well prepared. I think he's matured as well as anybody out here. He's experienced, and I'd be surprised if he gives this match away. Obviously a little tentative trying to get a good grip on the ball, but he's keeping his mind riveted on the job in front of him, and that's throwing a strike.
All but the 10. Ernie Schlegel, who over the years has received tremendous help from his wife, Catherine.
He knows this is a pretty good shot.
Ooh, nearly stepped across the line. The winner of this game will meet the tournament leader, David D'Entremont from Cleveland, Ohio, a non-winner. Here's a man in the last 3 tournaments is going for his 2nd win, having won 6 weeks ago, the Budweiser Classic in Columbus. Right hit, and they tumbled.
What a great break. At the right time, just happened for Ron Williams. He came in light. The head pin went to the sideboard. Watch the action of the head pin. It'll go to the sideboard, and you'll see the 2, 4, 5, and 8 standing. The head pin twists behind the 4 pin. It chops out the 5 and 8, trips the 2 forward. A great break. 1986, Chris. Ron Williams was bowling Schlegel in the Showboat Invitational. 56 last qualifying game. Got a break like that. Turned it into 4 in a row and defeated Schlegel. Let's see what happens.
Big loft on the shot. On the line, the man that made a charge last night, down 298 pins. With a win in the position round over David D'Entremont, he came within 17 pins of being in the top spot. Well, here's a man that's come from the very first game, leading by 4 now. Look at that, a 6-bagger.
Projecting the score, Chris. Ernie Schlegel can shoot 259. He leads by 4. He can shut out Ron Williams. Ron Williams currently going at a 235 pace. Schlegel at a 239. It's up to the man who performs in the 10th.
Ernie had a spare in the 8th frame, interrupting his string. It started again in the 9th, and incredible. After a 15-minute delay because of the loss of electrical power here in the lanes, this 45-year-old has come right back.
Bowling as well as I have ever seen Ernie, and as confidently. And the graphic tells the story. He needs a strike here in the 11th and 7 pins to shut out his opponent. He did it to Parker Bone. Parker had a chance to win the match. Ernie came up in the 9th, 10th, and 11th frames and just slammed the door. He has an opportunity to do it again right here.
Heather Schott is on her feet cheering for the bowling ball, and her husband, of course.
59-55, Goose. I know, all right.
What he's talking to Harry Golden about, who is the official scorekeeper. 259 for me is maximum, 255 for him. So basically he's telling himself he has a 4-pin lead. He needs 7 pins on this shot to shut out a very game Ron Williams.
Set! Wow. Closing strong, this 45-year-old. Ernie Schlegel now. 3 victories, goes into the final for $18,000. Yeah. Look at those scores of a match that was delayed 15 minutes because of a power outage. 45-year-old Ernie Schlegel with 10 strikes, eliminating Ron Williams, who had 9 strikes, 259 to 253. And needless to say, with the delay, we won't be able, with our 90-minute time period, to bring you to its conclusion the final match for the championship. But Wide World of Sports follows. A wonderful show, a great show. World Figure Skating Challenge of Champions, Mike Holland ski jumping Athlete of the Year presentation. We will be updating you through Wide World of Sports to tell you how the match is going and, of course, the eventual winner. But right now, David D'Entremont, a non-winner, the tournament leader, finishing his warm-up shots, will go against Ernie Schlegel, Bo, who's won 3 games.
Well, I think Schlegel has the upper hand. He's bowling sensational, Chris. Dave D'Entremont has never been in the championship round before, and he's still out there throwing some practice shots. So the upper hand goes to Schlegel, Chris, and as you said, we'll keep everybody updated. But D'Entremont has his hands full trying to win this match.
So that match, a 27-year-old at whom you're looking from Cleveland, Ohio, David D'Entremont, going for his first win. Schlegel will be trying for his 5th PBA championship. So to remind you that we will update you throughout Wide World of Sports on the Pinole Valley Open, the ARC Open. Well, Frank, we've had nothing but perfection here in this championship match. Schlegel with 3 strikes in a row, and his non-winning opponent, 27-year-old David D'Entremont of Cleveland, Ohio, opened with a double. Here is David now, shooting in the 3rd frame to keep the match even. A little bit robbed on that shot, Bo, leaving the 7-pin on the right lane.
D'Entremont came out very strong, just ripped the rack in the 1st frame, struck in the 2nd frame. Could have gotten a good break and kept the match even here in the 3rd. But as we said before we switched out to Frank, advantage all Ernie Schlegel. Our statistician today, Frank Ellenberg, a past Masters champion, said it to me, and a lot of other people are saying it. They have never seen Ernie Schlegel bowling this well in a championship round under the pressure. So let's see if D'Entremont can stay close.
And D'Entremont showing no sign of the pressure. Remember, this is the first time he's ever led a tournament, marking with a spare in the 3rd. So you see 11 pins different, Schlegel in the lead. Back to Frank. Carol, are you sure you want Ned Simon around?
Good shot by Ernie there, Chris, as he just packs it solid in the 4th frame. He opens up a 22-pin lead. Schlegel taking.
What do you want to do?
Re-rack here on the left.
Yeah, we don't have to do commentary. You're taping everything, though, in case.
Yes, ma'am. That doesn't make any difference. He's going for the 100,000. I tell you what, Carol, I have never seen this kid bowl, but if he strikes on this ball and Ernie doesn't strike in the 6th, the kid will beat him. That's stepping out. That's 32 pins I'm spotting you right now.
something caught my ear, maybe from over the top. I was playing light. I'm out of re-rack, aren't I? Got a beauty over here. Carry that, carry!
Ernie Schlegel going for his second solid 10. He had 5 strikes and then 2 spares and leads David D'Entremont, a non-winner from Cleveland, Ohio, by 30 pins, Bo.
Chris, each player has hit the pocket every frame. Schlegel 7 shots in the pocket. He has 5 strikes to show for it. D'Entremont 2 strikes to start, a 7-pin, a 10-pin, a strike, and a 10-pin. Trails by 30. Projecting, D'Entremont can still bowl 248. Schlegel's going at a 238 pace. The match is still alive.
Birding the split, leaving the 10-pin, which is the pin that's plagued him now in 3 frames. A very fine-looking 27-year-old player going against 45-year-old Ernie Schlegel.
Okay, Chris, if he converts this, there's a possible 237 for Dave D'Entremont. Schlegel going at a 238 pace. The match is still up for grabs.
All right. So from Frank Gifford's home state of California, we go back to New York and number 16. And now. Yeah. Carol? Carol, you hear me? You saying about 10? Well, I hope it's not too long. I don't want to miss the flight. Damn.
Yeah. They were cutting in the last 2 frames to start shows in CBS in the summer a couple of years ago. You know.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to scoot. I'll see you. 244, right?
Goose after call.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to delay the presentation so we can do it live on Wide World of Sports. So just hang in there. It'll be about 3 minutes, but we want Ernie to see live on Wide World. So it'll be about 3 minutes.
How many strikes in game 10? Jeez.
Isn't that something? Wow, that is something. He had a 2.5, a 4.7. 2.5 and a 4.7. I guess that's the reason the guys who are down and inners with experience were bitching when a cranker's reading.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, you should be able to bowl that good if you're that good. Spray gun down and in though. It keeps the crankers from.
Yeah. Give me a good count on the end because I'll need. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. See you later. Yeah, I hope it's good. Yeah. Well, I know. I'm going to call Garland. You know. This is Chris Schenkel live at Pinole Valley, California. A 15-minute power outage did not affect the play of Ernie Schlegel. With 10 strikes in the championship match, a big 268, a 244 average for the afternoon, Schlegel has won his 5th PBA title, and today, with his wife Catherine, a check of $18,000. There he is. Congratulations to him. Let's rejoin the World Figure Skating Challenge of Champions on ABC's Wide World of Sports.